Hello everyone. I'm Rania, your virtual sister. Welcome back to a new podcast episode. And today's episode is very special because I have a guest with me. And this guest is my friend from the homestay, Il Nathan. Welcome, Il Nathan. And today we're going to talk about depression. It is also a very specific topic. So let's start by understanding what depression really is. So let's get started.
Thanks, Rania. All right, let's start up by clearing up a confusion that comes up all the time. The difference between feeling sad and being clinically depressed. They may seem similar on the surface, but they're completely different experiences. Sadness is a normal human emotion. We feel sad when something upsetting happens, like losing a loved one, having a with a friend, or even just having a rough day. It hurts, yes, but it usually passes. It might last for a few hours, maybe a few days, but you can still enjoy things here and there. You might cry, vent, rest, and eventually bounce back. Sadness is healthy. It's part of how we process life. But depression, clinical depression, is more than just a feel. It's a diagnosable mental health condition. It lasts for about at least 2 weeks, often much longer, and it doesn't always have an obvious reason. You might be doing everything right on the outside, like going to school, meeting people, even smiling, but inside you feel empty. The energy is gone, the motivation disappears. You lose interest in the things you used to love. Even getting out of bed can feel like climbing a mountain, and it doesn't stop there. Depression affects sleep, appetite, concentration, and one's overall sense of self. It can make people feel worthless, hopeless, or stuck in a fog. So while sadness might fade with time, depression usually needs support, whether that's therapy, medical care, or just having people who truly understand.
And now we're talking about something very important: finding support and healing from depression. Depression is not just sadness, it can feel like you're stuck in a dark room with no door. You wake up tired, you don't enjoy the things you used to love, you feel alone even when people are around. But I want to tell you something today. There is a way out, there is hope even if you don't say it yet. Let's start with the first step: talking to someone. It can be a friend, a family member, a teacher, or a doctor. You don't have to say everything perfectly, just say, I don't feel okay and I don't know why. This small sentence can open the doors to healing. And the second step: asking for help is not weakness. In fact, it's a sign of strength. Strong people cry, strong people get tired, and strong people know when it's time to say, I need support. There are also professionals who can help you, like therapists, school counselors, or support groups. They listen without judging. They help you understand your feelings, and they teach you ways to feel better. I want you to know that healing is a long journey. It doesn't happen in one day. Sometimes you feel better, and sometimes you feel down again. But step by step, things get lighter. Let me give you a tip. Do one small good things for yourself every day. It can be a walk, a journal entry, a warm shower, or even just breathing slowly and deeply. Celebrate the small wins. Go out of the bed, it's a win. Talk to someone, that's a win. Smile for 1 second, that's a win. You are not alone, you are loved, and you are stronger than you think. If you are struggling, please reach out. You deserve support, you deserve healing, and you deserve peace.
Now, let's talk about how society often gets depression completely wrong. For starters, people throw around the word depressed way too casually, like, I'm so depressed my favorite show ended, or I didn't get my coffee, I'm depressed. It might seem harmless, but this kind of language waters down what real depression is. It creates this idea that depression is just extreme sadness, when in reality, it's something far more serious and far more complex. Because of this misunderstanding, people with actual depression often hear things like, you just need to think positively, or snap out of it, or even people feel like that sometimes, and that's not just unhelpful, it's damaging. It puts pressure on people to hide their struggles and pretend they're okay instead of reaching out for help. Another big misconception is that depression always looks obvious. We imagine someone who's always crying, locked in their room, or visibly struggling, but that's not always the case. Sometimes the most depressed people are the ones who seem fine on the outside. They go to school, hang out with friends, post on social media, but inside, they're barely holding it together. That's what makes depression so easy to miss. And then there's the stigma. Society still treats mental health different from physical health. If someone breaks their leg, nobody questions whether it's real or not. But with depression, people are told they're weak, lazy, or just overthinking. That kind of thinking not only isolates people, it stops them from seeking the help they need. What we need is more compassion, more awareness, and way more education about what depression is. Because the more we understand it, the better we can support those going through it, and maybe even recognize it in ourselves.
So today, I want to tell you a real story, a story of pain but also hope, a story that shows us that depression is real, but healing is also possible. Let me take you back to around 1993. A woman named J.K. Rowling was living in Scotland. She had no job, no money. She was a single mom taking care of her baby daughter. And inside, she felt very empty and sad. So she had depression. Some days, she didn't want to get out of her bed. She thought about ending her life. But sometimes, inside her said, keep going. So she started to write. She wrote about a boy named Harry Potter, a boy who lost his parents, a boy who felt different, but also a boy who was strong and magical. Writing became her way to erase the darkness. It didn't fix everything, of course, but it helped. She also went to therapy. She asked for help. Slowly, very slowly, she started to feel better. She sent her book to many publishers. They all said no, but one said yes. And that changed her life. Today, J.K. Rowling is known all around the world, but she never forgets her hard days. She said, rock bottom became a solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life. If you feel lost, tired, or sad, please remember this. You are not alone. It's okay to ask for help. And sometimes the darkest times can lead us to our brightest future.
In conclusion, depression is real and it's not just about feeling sad. It's a deep, complex struggle that many people face silently. But as we've shared today, there's hope, there's help, and there is healing. Whether it's understanding the difference between sadness and clinical depression, breaking the stigma, or simply learning to take the first step towards support, know this: you are not alone. Recovery is possible, and even the smallest steps, like talking to someone, asking for help, or simply getting through the day, matter more than you think. Let's continue to listen, learn, and support one another because mental health deserves just as much attention as physical health. Now, back to the host.
Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, don't forget to share it with your friends and subscribe for more support and advice. Remember, you're never alone. Stay strong and keep shining.